How's it going? Happy February the 13th, Sunday. It's the day of the sun. Just wanted to drop a quick one. Look, I want to let you know that I have been attentive to the comments and things that have been put in the comment section of the videos. They do not go unread. I particularly take pride in communicating directly with our clients here at the KnowledgeWell Media platform. And so I just want to let you know that I am paying attention to them, and I have seen that I've had definitely a general consensus that people like the smaller videos and the hard-hitting information put in smaller packages. And so I've heard you, and I will start to provide those, okay? Including this one here. So I'll try to keep them under 15 minutes or under, okay? So with that being said, I appreciate you keeping me on my toes and sharing your thoughts. That's all I asked for, really, okay? And your support, obviously, okay? Scrolling across the bottom there, you see how it is encouraged for you to do so, okay? Over at the Cash App, I'll put the Cash App for you there. Cash App is $American Consulate, okay? So if you appreciate the information here on this platform, KnowledgeWell Media and the KnowledgeWell University, then please donate to the Cash App, $American Consulate. No amount is too small, $2, $5, whatever you have. Okay, let's get to our lecture for the day. All right, so I ended up looking up right out of bed, right? Just had this inspiration, and as oftentimes it happens in the earlier part of the start of the day. And I typed in, if I expatriate, do I lose assets? Okay, so certain things that you might have attained while participating in the United States. All right, the question is, if you expatriate, if you give up your citizenship, do you lose certain properties and things that you've gained or ascertained while supposedly and allegedly under a U.S. citizenship? Okay, so let me show you something here. All right, so I looked up the definition. Again, I've been really loving this Webster's Collegiate Dictionary. It's from 1945. It's pretty old. I take a lot of pride in it. It's beautiful. I wish I can restore it, actually, but maybe that, gives it its character. So what does it mean to expatriate? Expatriate, all right, is comes from the past participle of expatriare, all right, French Latin. The ex means out, plus patria or patria is fatherland. So out of the fatherland, out of your father's land, okay? French pater is father, like paternal, right? It means exiled, expatriated, okay? The noun, so that was the adjective. Here's the noun as being a person, place, or thing, or idea. So in exile, okay? The verb to banish, to make an exile of. All right, the verb intransitive, to withdraw from one's native country or your father's land, right, and become a citizen of another country. Okay, so that's expatriate or expatriation in the Webster's Collegiate Dictionary, 1945. This is the looks like it says the 5th edition. Okay. All right, so moving right along, let's go a little bit deeper in there. I'll share my screen. And I ended up going to the website here, and this is IRS streamlined procedures.com, and it's talking about covered expatriate, a guide to exiting the United States. Okay, and you should know by now, if you don't, that the United States is in fact the government, all right, established 1789, and 10 miles square within the District of Columbia, okay, which is in fact not part of the 50 states. You should know that by now. So what's a covered expatriate? Okay, this is, again, the IRS streamlined procedures.com. So it's dealing with taxation. Okay. Not sure who this gentleman is here, but covered expatriate definition. When a U.S. person, I want you to pay attention to that because we're going to go into that in a moment. When a U.S. person is getting ready to expatriate from the United States and formally relinquishes their U.S. person status. Look at that right there. When the U.S. person formally relinquishes their U.S. person status. Okay? I want to look at, before we go further, I want to make sure that we have a full understanding of what we're talking about. Okay? So let's look up what status is. Oh man, I have a torn page in here. I got to fix that. What is status? What is status? Status. All right, here we go. Very simply put, state or condition of a person, position of affairs. Okay, so it's the state in which you are in. Okay, let's see what else we got here. The state in which anything is. The state existing. Okay, now let's look at state. Status, a standing position. Okay, French stare or statum, to stand. Mode or condition of being, nature, condition. Okay, condition of mind, condition with reference to wealth, social position, etc. Standing, especially high rank. I think I do need bifocals. Eminence, condition of living. So you notice they keep using the term condition, all right? So it's not necessarily alluding to the individual as much as it is alluding to the condition of the individual. Therefore, this would be applicable to the characteristic that an individual has or takes on. It's for another way to put it, it's the accompaniment to someone or something. Okay? Condition of living. That's the state in which you are in. Okay? Elaborate condition befitting a person of rank and wealth, hence formal dignity, pomp, or the like. Okay? It also says an estate, special class of persons. It says the bodies, this is the actual state per se in which you live. The bodies that constitute the legislature of a country, estates, body, or a political body. See, it's not a natural body. It's a political body. So there are different types of bodies. You must be careful and cautious. Okay? Any body of people occupying a definite territory and politically organized under one government. See? It's not the people. It says the body of people. Of being the operative term. Okay? When something is of something else, that means it derives or comes from it. It's not one and the same, but it comes from, okay? You are a child of your mother, but you are not your mother. Does that make sense? Kind of like the analogy I always use of legal versus lawful, okay? Legal is of law, but it is not one and the same. Let's keep moving here. So with that being said, this is essentially their admission, okay, that this status here, this is the state of being that is external to a person or individual. Reading again, when a U.S. person is getting ready to expatriate, leave their citizenship for another, leave their native land, leave their father's land, okay? When they're getting ready to do that, when a U.S. person is getting ready to do that from the United States, so they're saying that this would be the fatherland. A U.S. person, listen to what I am saying, hear me, pick up what I'm putting down. They are, in this instance, saying that the United States is the fatherland, the land of nativity of a U.S. person. Well, if you recall, the United States did not come on the scene until 1789. Okay? And it is the federal the federal government, okay, regulating over commerce and trade intranationally and internationally through the Congress, who has plenary power over all commercial activity. Okay? So remember that it was the nation states that formed the Confederacy, okay, under the Articles of Confederation. And they only gave so much power, we talked about this yesterday, to the United States government. They did not give the United States government total power. But the one aspect that the Congress and the United States federal government does have plenary power over is commerce. So anytime there is an involvement in the U.S. with commerce, U.S. source income, all right, any kind of trade or any kind of intercourse with a U.S. person, we're going to go over that in a moment here. That is how the U.S. steps in. That is the open door policy wherein or whereby the government has total power when it comes to commerce and the regulation thereof. Okay? Now, again, reading again, there's a whole lot in here. That's why I keep going over it. We need to catch this. When a U.S. person leaves or expatriates from the fatherland then being anything created by the 1789 creation of the new United States government. Do you see? Anything created then, and anything created then under that United States Constitution and the federal law, okay, is a citizen. Remember Amendment 14. We should look over that real fast. Amendment 14. Look at the verbiage here. Look at how it's stated. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. And we are at 15 minutes. I have to go a little bit longer on this so I can give you that punchline. And of the state wherein they reside. Listen, this is talking about persons born into that 1789 United States and under its Constitution, et cetera, right? So look, when a U.S. person expatriates from that fatherland, that United States, this right here. Oh, my bad. Doggone it. Listen, this is the 14th Amendment one more time. All persons born or naturalized in the United States, okay, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. So this is an event here. And the birth certificate is, again, the evidence of the event that took place. Remember, a certificate is certifying that an event took place. You get your U.S. person, born person's birth certificate, it's an evidence of this event. Okay? So now, this, they're saying, is the fatherland. The fatherland that a U.S. person leaves, okay, and formally relinquishes their U.S. person status. This is a status or state of condition external to the individual. Now, let's look at this real fast here. Got to wind up here. We went over time. I'm trying to keep it 15 or under. Look, U.S. person versus U.S. citizen. They are not one in the same. This is Golding lawyers. You can see across the top here. They're bar members. I think we can depend on this as far as what they're saying. U.S. person versus U.S. citizen. They are not one and the same. What's the difference? Let's take a look. U.S. person. Okay, U.S. person versus U.S. citizen. When a person refers to the term U.S. person, they often presume it means U.S. citizen. Makes sense, right? Especially in light of the fact that the United States follows citizen-based taxation rules on worldwide income. In truth, the U.S. person versus U.S. citizen comparison is much more comprehensive. Here it is. A U.S. person, individual, refers to a U.S. citizen or U.S. citizens. So U.S. citizens are U.S. persons. Legal permanent residents, those are considered U.S. persons. Look at here. Foreign nationals subject to IRS substantial presence test are U.S. persons. Careful, y'all. Because even though you're claiming to be foreign national, if you are subject to IRS and its substantial presence test, you are still considered a U.S. person. Former, look, legal permanent resident who did not properly expatriate. My bad, hold on. I gotta get used to these switches. This last one here. Former legal permanent resident who did not properly expatriate is a U.S. person. This is important. KnowledgeWell is here to dispel all the myths. Look at y'all. So this lets us know that a U.S. citizen is a U.S. person, but not all U.S. persons are U.S. citizens. Let me say that again. All U.S. citizens are U.S. persons, but not all U.S. persons are U.S. citizens, because even a foreign national can be considered a U.S. person. This is powerful. This is the type of information you get here at KnowledgeWell Media that you will not find anywhere else. It's important that you go over and join us at the Patreon. I'll put up information on that in a moment. So we were talking about covered expatriates. We were talking about that a U.S. person's status is something outside or external to the individual, him or herself. This is a status that is taken on, okay? Reading one more time. Look, when a U.S. person, we know what a U.S. person is. A U.S. person is not necessarily always a U.S. citizen. It could be a foreign national as well when it comes to taxation in the IRS code. So it says when a U.S. person is getting ready to expatriate from the United States, okay, and formally relinquish their U.S. person status. Now listen here, lastly. This is the fatherland of all U.S. persons. This is the fatherland of all U.S. persons. Let's look up the definition of fatherland and see if anything comes up. Bear with me one moment. I'm gonna go back to my new favorite dictionary. Black's Law. I'm still loving you too. You know, I still love my Bouvier 1856 too. But this is the new kid on the block, so I'm gonna give him an opportunity. So far, he's been doing really good, really good. What's fatherland? And we are at, oh my God, we're at 21 minutes. I gotta hurry up. Let's see if they'll give me something. Fatherland. One's native land. Quite simply. One's native land. So we have to ask a question. Who is begotten? Because it says a father, one who has begotten a child or a male parent, like a parent company. Okay, I'm not saying that the United States itself is the company per se. We know that the United States of America is the production or incorporation between the original 13 colonies. We know that. And they together entered into the land or realm of commerce, which again, the Congress of the federal United States has plenary power. All right. That was what we traded. We talked about this yesterday. We gave that plenary power to the Congress in exchange for that military protection, all right, to keep all of our trade and commerce safe from foreign invasion, allegedly, and enemies, domestic and abroad. Okay, so again, a father is one who has begotten a child. So they're saying that the United States, the federal government, has begotten these persons, and those persons we see here again, Amendment 14, Section 1. These were born, and remember, born is not the same thing as birth. Born means to carry, or it's a characteristic that one takes on. Okay, it's not the individual themselves, but it's a characteristic or something that they carry, they bear. Okay, and so this status here, a U.S. person, is a status that you take on, or that one takes on when they take up citizenship, in this case, in the United States. It is something that the human is not necessarily born or birthed with or born with, right? It is something that comes later. It is something external to the individual. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? And when you take that on, okay, then you take on certain rights and obligations. Okay, let's take a look at this lastly. What do I want to see? Yeah, let me show you what's going on here. Let me show you one of my favorite here. (8 U.S.C. Section 1481. We go into the notes section here, and where it's talking about exactly this topic, expatriation, you'll see that it says, whereas the right of expatriation is a natural and inherent right. Natural and inherent meaning that it's of nature. It is not something man-made. It is something, an inherent. Look what inherent means. I want to give you the actual dictionary meaning as opposed to my own conjecture. Show you the power of inherent. Watch this. Firmly infixed. Infixed. Especially involved in the constitution or essential character of anything. Belonging by nature or settled habit. Inalienable. Okay? Let's see. One place had one definition had put it, it comes from within as opposed to being granted without. In other words, it's something you were born with as opposed to something that was given to you. Okay? That's inherent. Firmly infixed. Let's see if they'll define infixed for us. Infixed. Where you at? I probably need to update my glasses. Have to work on that next. Okay, let's see if they. Okay, so infix. Infigere, to infix. What does it mean? To fasten or fix by piercing or thrusting in. To implant, instill, inculcate. To insert as an infix. So it is something that is essentially bound to you. It's something, it said pierced, okay? It said implanted, okay? It's in you, is I guess what it's trying to say, okay? And so, look, the right of expatriation, natural and infixed inside of you. It's part of you, right, of all people. It's inside of the people already. Indispensable to the enjoyments of the rights of life, liberty. Oh, not bad. Listen, here we are. Whereas the right of expatriation is a natural and inherent right of all people, indispensable to the enjoyment of the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And whereas in the recognition of this principle, this government, we're at the U.S. Code, so it's that government, the U.S. government, has freely received immigrants. These are expatriates. They left their fatherland here and came into a new citizenship into the United States from all nations. Now, the 13 colonies in the states abroad that are not one with the District of Columbia and the United States government, okay? They're separate and distinct. They're independent, sovereign nations, states. So the expatriates and immigrants came from all of those states. And it says, this is what the United States did. Invested them with the rights of citizenship. So what are the rights of citizenship? Let's go back. What does it say right here? When a U.S. person is getting ready to expatriate from the United States and formally relinquish their U.S. person status, here it is right here, y'all. That's what you were invested with. They gave you citizenship rights. That's what you were invested with. Now, remember under U.S. person here, what did it say? Who's a U.S. person? A U.S. citizen. So they have U.S. citizenship rights. Then you have legal permanent residents. They take on U.S. person rights, or rights that come with being a U.S. person, and obligations. Foreign nationals, they're subject to IRS, or that may be subject to IRS substantial presence test. Well, if they're subjects, then that means they take on some rights. And former legal permanent resident. who did not properly expatriate. That means that if they didn't properly expatriate, then they're still probably receiving some benefits. And they certainly have some obligations to the United States. Otherwise, they would not be called a U.S. person. You picking up what I'm putting down? So that's an investment. U.S. citizenship or categorization as a U.S. person, that's an investment. There are benefits as well as duties. And so, and it's all because of the fatherland. You came in and now you're trying to leave the fatherland. So when you leave the fatherland, you may formally relinquish the status that you took on. Okay? So you no longer have those obligations, but then you also no longer have certain rights that you once had in the fatherland. The fatherland in this case being the United States. All right, with that being said, I know I went longer than I planned by double, but I wanted to get that out. I wanted to make sure we get the punchline. And there is still more to this. If you want to know more about this, we can cover more. I guess give me, your want for more information on this topic. What I'll start doing is just putting up little, half hour, I guess, 15 and a half hour, we'll call it then. And if you like it, if I get an overwhelming want to know more by the viewers, then I will double down and we will do a longer lecture on it. How about we do that? That way I know and I can test the climate and the temperature of the viewership. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great day today. Make it a great day. And I told you I'd put up the Patreon. Here's the Patreon. You want to join to get that hard-hitting information, longer dosages, as it were, videos and things like that. Go over there. We put, we don't have to worry about the censorship. That's more of the private land over there. Join our family. There's $15 per month, $30 per month, $50 per month, and $100 per month tiers. They're segregated. Obviously, the more the donation, the more accoutrements you get. All right. Also, if you're interested in any products, a great way to support is to purchase t-shirts. You see there on the right side. In the middle, that was our Paradigm Shifters webinar we did, packed about 4 hours, packed full of information like what you just heard and greater. And then the Yellow Bricks of Emerald booklet right there, that's also packed with a lot of information with a KnowledgeWell twist to it. Taught only like we do here. All right. So again, donations, please. If you like this information, you want to keep it going, that's how you do it. $ American Consulate. All right. No amount is too small. $1, $2, $5, $100, whichever. Show the appreciation for the type of content that you get here. All right. Other than that, we will see you next time for the next post. I'll try to keep it within 15 to half an hour. All right. Love you all. Thank you. And now you've been made free. What are you going to do with it? We'll talk to you soon.